The PlayStation fanboy will wear you out with their double speak. Now, some of the elements of what they will say will have maybe some bearings to make it seem like it's the truth, but in many cases, what you're looking at is something that is highly inaccurate. Let me show you this because it actually makes for a very interesting discussion. I made this video where I said Xbox broke gaming. This user writes and says, the reason Xbox is porting their games, and this was 1 hour ago, is because nobody's buying their console to buy their games. Now, this is interesting because we know that Xbox pivoted to actually making its games multi-platform, right? Porting their games day one to PC because in console sales, they were behind PlayStation. This is not a lie. This is from the Xbox One PS4 days. They were getting smoked in that particular category. But the way this is actually stated will make it seem like some way, somehow, Xbox is the only one that's facing this particular unique situation, and PlayStation is actually safe from it. That people are buying, and this is the opposite connotation, and people are buying PlayStation to buy PlayStation games. That's not true. How do you know? Well, go look at, say, a game like Ghost of Yotei, and go look at how many consoles PlayStation has actually sold. Or look at a game like, or look at both consoles. What kinds of games people are playing on both consoles. That would also go ahead and clue you in as to none of these two consoles are selling primarily because of exclusives. That's just not accurate. Because if you look at the games that are played on these platforms day in, day out, they are absolutely different from what these people are, insinuating. And this is the beauty of where the data actually comes in to make it quite interesting. So, here's an Xbox most played list, weekly engagement tracker, ending November 15th week, and another one for, PlayStation ending November 15th. When you look at both of them, how many of these consoles or how many Xbox or PlayStation games tell you that people are buying their console to play their games? If anything, it's Xbox gamers that actually have the opportunity to play their games more than anything else because they have a subscription service that brings those games to them. For instance, you'll see that The Outer Worlds 2 makes it into the top 10 rank in terms of games. So that statement that this guy made in this particular, instance is absolutely inaccurate because you can actually buy an Xbox console to play Xbox games because you have Game Pass and you have access to those services that would offer you those games. So in reality, this is a fomented comment that's not taking into account what's going on. Now, here's where the doublespeak is. This same individual down here was replying to FJ. FJ said, PlayStation is selling their consoles at a loss and have no games to sell. That's increasing deficit, not reducing it. That's a standard claim because this is what Xbox has decided to do. They decided to be real and raise their console prices to cover the loss leader. They're no longer interested in selling you hardware at a loss because you can play their games wherever it is that you want. So technically, if you want their device, buy their device for the price that their device costs. Or go bring your browser, your phone, or bring your PC. This same user just said Xbox was selling at a loss and, well, no one wanted it. And then he says this, now they're raising prices to blow up the industry because they lost the console war. How can you blow up the industry when you're the underdog that lost the console war? So you're doing the thing where Xbox is dead, but Xbox is going to destroy the gaming industry, which is usually what it is that y'all do. Because again, none of you are being realistic with us. That's what actually makes everything so funny. So FJ replied and said, they're selling at cost now. What you type doesn't make sense. He says, they are selling at cost now. That's why they raised the price, which means they first released the console. They were selling at a loss. Yes. And you said no one wanted to buy it. Hence why they gave up on selling at a loss. Well, that's not true. They actually have games to sell. If no one wants to buy your console, what sense does it make for you to actually go back and sell at cost? Do you see the mind games that this guy is trying to wiggle his way in and out of an argument that he's basically dug a hole for himself? So PlayStation literally just dropped the price of the console by $100 for the holidays because PlayStation has to beg you to buy their consoles. Xbox doesn't have to anymore. Their business is not predicated on the console. So again, you guys now want to take what is Xbox's advantage and make it look like it's a disadvantage for Xbox, and take what PlayStation has a disadvantage as and make it look like it's an advantage to them. How does selling your hardware at a loss mean that you somehow have the upper hand? That, to me, is the craziest economic conclusion that I've seen. And ladies and gentlemen, this is Monday morning. Welcome to the Gaming Conversation. That's what we're going through. When math has got to literally break because PlayStation needs to get an exemption every single dadgum time. That right there, right, is exactly what it is that we're seeing. Right now, if you buy yourself an Xbox console, you have access to more games in this particular conversation than you will anywhere else. You do. You absolutely do have access to more games. Why? Because Xbox has a subscription service that provides you with these games. Xbox has third-party developers running to their consoles. After years of many of these developers abandoning Xbox, or whatever it is, maybe being told to, or, in a sense, encouraged to abandon Xbox, or maybe in some cases they didn't have the money to, they are now making their way to Xbox consoles because Xbox as a platform, because that platform gives you access to way more players than a console can. Cloud gaming, that's a big deal. Phil Spencer just announced that Game Pass cloud gaming hours have gone up, or I think was it Phil Spencer? Yeah, I think he said from when he first, started Game Pass or something. Was it Phil Spencer or Satya Nadella? I can't remember. One of them actually went ahead and put it out there. Let me find it for you guys. Here it is. You are not selling as much consoles as so-called PlayStation, but you're actually getting people to engage in your ecosystem and on your platform. Very interesting. Xbox Cloud Gaming with Game Pass up 45%, now available in nearly 30 countries. FJ, who was talking with this user here in the comments, had been telling me a while ago and said, VG, look at the upcoming Xbox Cloud arrangement with their servers that they're putting up in India. And he'd been saying this to me for at least maybe 4 months or longer. Now, I don't think it's even, I think 4 months doesn't even do it justice. And at that time, I was saying to myself, man, I wonder what the implications of this is going to be. So I'd read the comment and I'll look and be like, I never could just concentrate enough actually to go find the articles for it. And then those data servers, they basically launched in India and everything. And I got to tell you, once they hit, it appeared that region has now been able to tap into Xbox's ecosystem without waiting for, you to go ahead and sell a console. PlayStation sees this. China Hero Project, PC launches. It's because there's a market there that's not going to buy PlayStation's console. PlayStation is already aware of this. All of you that are still sitting here crying about console sales, you have to understand that there are huge swaths of customers anywhere in the world, maybe even the US or whatever it is, that are not going to buy a console. Doesn't matter what you try to do, but you have software to sell. How are you going to deploy that software? You have to either depend on somebody else, like Valve, as PlayStation does, or you got to get out there and you need to go ahead and sell your games. And PlayStation is right there. They need to go ahead and sell their games. So this is going to be a fun time for them because Xbox is accessing and reaching markets so fast. I hope PlayStation understands what the reality is here. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Remember, Xbox is dead, but also remember, they're going to destroy the industry. Peace out.